Okay, we end this section on subtraction of integers, and this is where it gets kind of sticky for students, this idea. But we start by looking at patterns first. 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3, 4 minus 0 is 4, 4 minus negative 1. So you can see the pattern keeps going up by 1. And so 4 minus minus 3 has to then be 7. So as you start to see that, you start to see a pattern and say, oh, 4 take away negative 2. It's like, and you learned in your probably other classes that you just, oh, make it a positive. And that does come from back of our rule here, right? The opposite of a negative is the positive value. And so that's where it allows it to have addition, where that becomes into addition. So again, try these, think about that arithmetic, those rules that lead us here, right? This turns out to be negative 4 plus, right, 1. That third one there, but think about it. You really need to go through that process. This is 2 plus negative 5 when you think about that as you're finishing looking at these examples here, okay? And so we want to think about that as the takeaway approach as we look at them. 6 take away 2 is 4, negative 4 take away negative 1. So if you think, well, here's negative 4, and you take away negative 1, you're left with negative 3. That set model works. Here, negative 2, take away negative 3. Now, what has to happen is, and again, what happens is you start with 2 negatives, but if I put this here, this is still equal to negative 2. I just added a positive and negative, and now once I've done that, right, okay, that's still negative 2. Which gives me this, negative 2. Now I'm going to take away the negative 3. If I take away that negative 3, that's gone, and then you're left with positive 1, right? 2, take away 5. There's your 2, right? But I can't take away a positive 5. I don't have enough. So what you do is you add 5 more, like this, right? You add 5 more to that list. So now you have 7, but I want to balance it out. And so now I'm able to take away, so let's do that again. I have 2 take away 5. So there's my positive 2. I don't have enough to take away. So what I do is I add 3 more to get my 5, but to keep it balanced, I keep the negative. Now I can take away the positive 5. And what am I left with? Negative 3. So that's a set model takeaway approach that you want to play with, okay, as we look at that. Another way is what we learn is there's a rule that says let's just add the opposite every time. And so every subtraction problem becomes an addition problem using this rule here. A minus B, there's a definition, is the same as A plus minus B. It's a definition. It is. That's what you do. So that's why if you did 2 minus 5, the rule is 2 plus negative 5. And now that I have it as an addition problem, I can solve any problem with that. Because once I know how to do addition of integers, I can turn every subtraction problem into an addition problem, right? And here's negative 1 minus negative 4 is up here. 1 minus 4 here turns into this. And so you can see the set model approach. Basically, you're turning everything to addition so you can solve it. And so again, you'll practice this. Here's the answers. You can see how I turned every one into the opposite. Same thing here, 7 minus negative 3. You can see that just turns into 7 plus 3. If you were going to do the set model approach, right, you have 7 positive. There you go. And I don't have any 3 to take away, so you kind of like you borrow negative. I add a negative 3, but if I add negative 3, I got to put that group in there. And now I'm going to take away the negative 3. So I take away the negative 3, I end up with 10 positive. So that's the set model approach for that. And then of course we can end by any subtraction problem can be solved with an addition problem using the missing addend approach. So if you think about some of these, and I have some extra examples here. The first one is 4 minus minus 2, right? 4 minus minus 2. Well, all 3 methods, sorry, not extra, we have the 3 different ways. The takeaway approach, you can see what I did here. I had 4, and then I had to add 2 more with the 2 negatives. You started with 4, and then I added 2 more. And then when you take away the 2, right, you end up with 6. Adding the opposite just turns into that problem there. And then in the missing addend approach, you can see 4 take away -2 is me saying -2 plus what equals 4? -2 plus what equals 4? And that equals 6. That's the missing number there, right? So the same thing, if I said 2 minus 5, right, is equal to what? Right, we know that answer is -3, but my question really is going to be, right, looking at our rule from the missing addend approach, right? The missing addend approach is asking now, we know that we're going to have 5 plus what, right, equals 2. 5 plus what equals 2. It takes a little practice on that, but it's -3. And that was our answer here. We already knew this was -3, but you can think about it as a missing addend approach problem.